Doug Campbell. I'm the General Manager of the Upper Hunter County Council, who also trades as the Upper Hunter Weeds Authority. We're responsible for the functions under the Biosecurity Act for the Upper Hunter, Muswellbrook and Singleton Shire Council areas, local government areas in the Upper Hunter of New South Wales. As the General Manager, I'm responsible for the day-to-day management of the County Council, as well as policy development, implementation, and basically everything to do with governance in the running of the council. We prioritise our weeds. At the moment, we're trying to control new invasive species that have come into the area. They're our priority. At the moment, we are working on things like Scotch broom, blackberry and alligator weed. As the seasons change, that'll change into African foxhorn and a few other winter sort of species. And then as we move through into the summer, we'll end up with St John's wort as one of our main ones. We also have Chilean needlegrass. It's one of our new weeds that will just be known to be in the area. As it is in a small area at the moment, it has the potential to spread further. We are concentrating on that. We also kindly, because of the drought a few years ago, we've ended up having some sites that have Parthenian weed, which is prohibited matter in New South Wales. It's a nasty little plant that can cause severe asthma and dermatitis reactions to people if they come in contact with it. It's quite prevalent in central Queensland, where there's cases of people actually having to leave their properties because of it. They've actually had to move off them because of health. So it's one that's always been a top priority within the state. And we, unfortunately, because of the drought, we had a load of fodder for cattle come down from Queensland in the middle of a drought which contained it. It takes 10 years of no plants before it's considered to be free of the plant, mainly because the plant actually, when it gets the flower, it can actually produce up to 50,000 seeds per plant. So it is a great spreader. We've always got something going on with weeds. It does move around with the seasons about what we are actually moving on to. Different weeds have different control phase, different times of the year where they're more prevalent. If they're annuals, they're actually germinated. Even perennials, we do have times of the year where they do shut down. Control's not really feasible at that stage. Firstly, allows us to record something in real time, which is then able to be transferred between each of the staff. So all the staff have the same information. So if we need to move around and move from one area to another or do joint programs, the information's right in front of the staff. They can just click on there and see what's happened there in the past. That saves a lot of paperwork, a lot of unnecessary boxes of records hanging around. It's all immediately accessible. It basically helps us keep track of what's happening there. It just assists the management. And I have weed officers now who get lost without their tablets. And if I do have a staff turnover, the new person coming in can pick it up straight away and knows what's happening around them. Pretty user-friendly, really. So you can pretty well give it to anyone with minimum sort of training on the actual program, and they can pretty well use it. Everyone's using technology more, so basically, operating a smartphone, we can operate this stuff. It does give us that flexibility in there to tailor it to our needs. Apart from the information we do need to collect, it's very adaptable. And if anyone wanted to sit down and have the time to do it, they can build themselves a really good system to do a lot of work for it. I don't do much face-to-face management each day. It's mainly done through this, and I can monitor this to say, yeah, this has been done. I can task things to say, I've received a phone call, it can go into the system, I can email and I can see if that's been actioned. We have pretty poor communication as far as phone areas around here, so they can go out and do the activities and it comes back when they synchronise, we can see that it's been done. It just makes it a lot more efficient. Once it's synced and everyone's synced, well, the information spread across 5 devices. If anything happened to one device, well, it's not lost, and even if it happened to all the devices, obviously we can still get it back from the cloud. It does offer that redundancy around the place to make sure that things are being done, and and I can go on there and I can do a little bit of editing too. Sometimes if something hasn't been quite filled out right or needs to change. The other thing we use on it too is to try and build in the scheduling around repeat visits or inspections, and it just does keep that knowledge that these activities aren't lost if something happens, and we only lose that day. Nearly 20 years I've been using one form or another of the various versions of the current software. As it's moved along and been developed, we've continued to use it. I like using this system because it gives me that flexibility about with the forms. There is other products out there which you're tied down and you need to go back to the developer to get any changes done, and then there's an added cost in doing that. Whereas I've got full control of what my system is. I've got full control of the forms. I can add things to the forms. I can add another field in there if we need to collect some information for a period of time on project. Then I can actually do a report on that. It's actually searchable. Pull that out so you're only looking at those records. Progress now to the smart drop-downs so that we can use the one form now. It's very cost effective. It just does give us that much flexibility. You're continually wanting the developed forms, you can edit the form. So you can basically drop those fields out of it just without, within 2 seconds, just clicking on a thing, just unpublish it. Especially, 3 or 4 people working for the same organisation, you need to do that. We use the 3 systems that RapMat have developed over the years. The first one is the Summit, which is used for administration and reporting. That's the online system where you can go into custom reports where you can actually pull data to what you need to get to that specific time for a specific purpose on the report. And also you can maintain your forms, change your workflows so that things flow through and take users off as we need. The Crest system is on the tablets, that's the mobile form, and that is a map interface which staff can use, and they're often lost without it now because the maps tell them exactly where they are, whose property they are on, and when in some cases where they are close to boundaries, where the boundary is not defined, especially in more rugged country. The data they can collect, it can be done offline if they're not in an area which has great service. But once they've come in, they can synchronize, and that data comes through and is shared into the cloud and it comes to all our PCs so that everyone has the same data. This makes it easier for us to interchange staff between areas because they've got the data that they've previously collected, or when we do have new staff come in, they can pick it up and they can look to see what previously happened at a site and know what to expect. Swift is used on the tablet or the Android phones. It's more of a one that can use it around towns and that, more interactive with different maps, but it is a great tool too. All of the systems that they've developed can integrate with other systems, with our GIS systems. They're also ISO approved, they're SSL secured and protected with Amazon Web Service. I am comfortable, and this is a big concern what's happening at the moment, that all our information is cyber safe, and that is a big requirement now for all entities, especially within the New South Wales local government. So I've been working with them for 25 years. The main reason that you should use Iconyx is that their software is the user can actually modify it for their use. So if they need to make a change in a form or add another form, the user can do that themselves. With the custom search reports, you can build reports for your needs, for any specific reporting that you need to do. Often you get asked some questions of how much of this weed was there between this date and that date. You can do that quite quickly. It's very easy to do online. That's probably another point, that all that data is not going overseas to some server farm, which is maybe vulnerable. It's all within Australia. The other thing is that the information that goes up and down from them is, not available to everyone. It's only available to us. They only see the information in a snapshot, whereas we end up getting the whole lot. It's all kept within Australia. On-site support or anything like that, they're more than happy to get someone out to us to come on-site and fix a problem, which may involve the integration of one of the systems into a larger system. Really, at the end of the day, if something that goes wrong with it, you can pick up the phone and someone else can fix it. They're just a phone call away or an email. Usually send an email, I get a response from me straight away, and I usually have someone ringing me up within the hour. And also because they're so approachable. Over the years, they've been very approachable, and they turn up everywhere. They turn up at every conference, and if you want them to turn up anywhere, they'll turn up, and they're quite happy to show what their systems do or to help other people, get into the system. Good to be part of it. They treat you like family, so that's a good way of doing business.